The next one we're going to look at is number 40 here. And you notice we have -6 times the absolute value. And then inside those absolute value bars, we have n divided by 3, or n over 3. And then is greater than 6. We need to isolate the absolute value, okay? The absolute value of the n over 3. In other words, we've got this multiplication right there of -6 times that. So I need to undo that. I don't add 6 to undo multiplication. I'm going to divide by -6. I'm going to divide by -6. So I have the absolute value of n over 3. We divided by a negative, so we got to flip that inequality sign. And 6 divided by -6 right here is -1. Okay, so we've isolated the absolute value. Now, if you look at that reference sheet, we have on there, and I'm going to write this down below here, the absolute value of A is less than B. And if that right there is a negative number, think about it with absolute value. Can you take the absolute value of anything? When I take the absolute value, no matter what's inside here, this is always going to be a positive when I take the absolute value. Is a positive number ever going to be less than a negative number over on this side? It is not possible. So when you get this to be a negative number and the absolute value is less than that, now it would be a different situation if it was greater than that. If it's less than a negative, you cannot do it. It is no solution. So obviously if it's no solution, we can't graph anything, or the graph, we don't put anything on the number line. We just answer it as a no solution. Now I just want to point out one thing. If it would have said the absolute value of n over 3 was greater than -1, let's just say that that was the case. Notice on that reference sheet I also have on there, if we have the absolute value of something, A, is bigger than, we have a number over here and it's bigger than a negative. Well, if this is always going to output a positive, every positive number is going to be bigger than any negative number over here. Then you would say the answer is all real numbers. Okay, and you basically would graph the whole number line if it was all real numbers. And that's the other scenario we can have. I didn't look at an example.